friends, Running Kimono here, and we have a Saturday chit-chat, chatty chat kind of video, and I was tested last week. Oh my gosh. Two stores and two bad experiences with cashiers, and I'm not crapping on cashiers in this video, but what I will say is that the first one was just completely out of line, and I will be complaining to management at that store because it was ridiculous what happened. And the second store, man, I noticed a lot of new hires over at Walgreens. They're just making up stuff on the spot. And a lot of us that have been couponing there, 10 plus years, we know how register rewards work, and yet they're still giving us a difficult time. So let's hop into a time machine and talk about the first store. So the first store was Big Lots, and I went in there to buy a container. I'm helping my mom with a project, and I needed it, and I had a 5 off 15, but the container was like $20, so it would be $15. Pretty easy thing. I needed her to scan one coupon off my phone, but that wasn't the problem. When I was trying to pay with my debit card, the debit card just kept getting canceled on. And we tried, I think, 4 times. And at one point, the cashier's like, you are putting your card in too strongly. You need to do it more gently. So then I'm like, I did it in a gentle fashion. And then she's like, can I try? And I'm like, I really don't want somebody touching my debit card. But I'm like, whatever, just do it. I want to get out of the store. And she tried and it got canceled again. So her theory of touching it very gingerly was incorrect. And I'm not being negative about cashiers because I actually worked as a cashier at one point in my life. So before people come for me in the comments, it's not about that. So then the cashier looks at me and she's like, do you not have enough money in your checking account? Is this why we're getting rejected? And I was like, what? And I just looked at her. I'm like, that's not the case. I used it just at Walmart about 10 minutes ago and I didn't have an issue. She's like, do you have enough funds? And she's like, because the customers ahead of you had no problem. And I'm like, okay. And a manager walked by and she's like, could you help us out because I can't get her card to work? And the manager looked over at the screen and I can't see what's going on. And he's like, oh, you need to press this button to use a debit card. He pressed it and guess what? The card like that worked. And I was embarrassed. She had to go into, you don't have enough money, blah, blah, blah. And then she informs me, this is where it gets really great. I just started on Friday and this was a Monday when all this transpired. And she's like, been on the till for 2 days and she's an authority of how much money you have in your checking account, what's going on. It was rude, uncalled for, and like even you're touching the machine too aggressively with your card. What? It was just bizarro world. I got my stuff. I could not get out of there quickly enough. And if I ever see that lady again, I'm going to go run out of the door. It's just not worth it. And it's a prime example of somebody starting a new job and they do whatever to get you to pay with cash or to expedite a transaction. And they just give you a hard time just because they work there and you don't. I don't know why some cashiers do that, why she couldn't ask for her manager because she didn't understand something, but it was initially my fault. I don't have enough money in my checking account, blah, 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 blah. The customer. Unreal. Over at Walgreens, it was just as bad, and this is where I dusted off the line. I may look stupid, but I'm not. Cashier, I had these 3 Eco Picks by Oral-B for the promotion of buy 3, get $10 back in register rewards. These rang up for $3.49 at the register, and I needed $5 products to get my $2 register rewards. So I was actually thinking on my feet at the register. And the cashier's like, well, why don't you want the cheaper ones? And I said, well, because there's a promotion for $10 back in register rewards. And if I don't have the proper ones, I'm not going to get it. So I'm like, can you just void it and I'll grab something else? And I went back and got the different picks. Even though it was tagged, it was wrong. And she rang up. She came back. I came back. She rang up the 3. And then I had a 5 off 3 digital. And I wanted to use $10 in Walgreens cash. And at that point, she informed me, she's like, if you use your $10 in Walgreens cash, you're not going to get anything back. And then I said, no, it's a register reward deal. She's like, no, it won't work. It never works. And she's like, so I'm not, if you want to do it, it's not going to work. Very matter of fact, very to the point. And I looked at her, I'm like, I may look stupid, but I'm not, so we'll just go with it. And if I'm wrong, I own it. And then guess what printed out of the machine? These two. And then she just kind of looked at me, didn't say a word. She was wrong. And it's I don't know why she's like that. She's been working there some time, but just had to school me about it. And what she doesn't understand is that I have been shopping probably at Walgreens when she was in high school. And I'm not there to give people a hard time, but I knew how it worked. And yes, I did say something kind of sassy because if the customer wants to use their Walgreens cash, it should be their I should be able to do whatever I want. It's not like I brought her a stack of 600 coupons. I just wanted to use one digital coupon and $10 in Walgreens cash. And it had to amount to that. And after these two printed out of the machine, no apology, no nothing, no like, oh, well, this works. It's just like, it's still on me. And whatever, it's not a store that I frequent a lot, but just like unnecessarily rude. And there's a lot of this going on. Either new hires have to give you a hard time, or they just create these nebulous rules that are pulled out of the air. I don't understand it, but it's happening a lot more lately. In the comments down below, if you've been going through something similar, let me know, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.